Question number 5, Chlöe Swarbrick.
To the Minister...
Just hang on, we'll just wait till... Okay.
To the Minister for Trade and Investment. How does the government's $200 million fund for the fossil fuel sector impact the agreement on climate change, trade and sustainability?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Tom Chlöe.
It has no impact upon the ACT's agreement, Mr Speaker, nor on the government's ability to honour our commitments under this world first trade agreement, which will reduce tariff rates for environmental goods that we sell, including New Zealand wool and wood. ACT does not prevent the government from reopening oil and gas exploration permits, nor entering into commercial arrangements to ensure energy security and affordable prices for New Zealand households. Natural gas will play a vital role in the energy stability as a low-emission alternative to the coal that was imported by that member's party in the last government. Until viable, cost-effective renewable options are in place, we intend to honour our climate change and environmental obligations under this trade agreement.
On what basis can he claim that there will be no impact when today it has been reported that independent legal advice shows quite clearly that the $200 million for the fossil fuel industry in his government's budget is a subsidy and therefore a breach of the agreement on climate change, sustainability and trade?
Well, Mr Speaker, this is not a subsidy, and I refer the member to the definition of fossil fuel subsidies in the ACT's agreement. Article 4.3 of the agreement shows a number of flexibilities to enable New Zealand to address risks to energy security and affordability. Any options the government pursues around gas exploration and development will take into account New Zealand's international obligations, and the government intends to do this within the commitments we've made in this agreement.
Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Chlöe Swarbrick.
I seek leave to table a document. The document is independent legal advice commissioned by the Green Party showing that the $200 million set aside for the budget is a fossil fuel subsidy. It is not currently publicly available in full.
But it's an in-house document.
It's not. No, it was legal advice that has been commissioned, provided to the media, but I have not yet seen it published in full on any media website.
Just a minute. Sorry, to be clear, this is a Green Party commissioned document that's been made available to the media.
And the media have not published it in its full totality. All right, Mr Speaker.
Leavers, or is there any objection?
Yes. Funny that, so much for transparency. Mr Speaker, he pātai tāpiri.
The House will contain itself and listen silently while a question is asked.
What does he think that his government? What does he think that this government's fossil fuel fund says about the value of Aotearoa New Zealand's signature on any international agreement when the government chooses to breach them 6 months in after 6 years of negotiation?
Well, Mr Speaker, what it says about this government is we will meet our international obligations. When we enter into them, we take them seriously, but we're also going to work hard to stop the importation of coal directed by the previous government and find alternatives as we transition to cost-affordable energy for all New Zealanders. Mr Speaker, it does feel like the Green Party have used taxpayer money to commission a report to get on TV from a lawyer that probably is not involved in this agreement. We take our obligations seriously and will meet those commitments in the agreement when it enters into force, but we also work to get the cost down for every New Zealand household when it comes to electricity and energy.
Supplementary.
Chlöe Swarbrick.
Will the government then take its $200 million taxpayer-funded subsidy for the fossil fuel sector off the table and invest that money in things that will actually improve New Zealanders' lives, not the least given this news that the subsidy probably breaches the agreement on climate change, trade and sustainability?
Well, Mr Speaker,
just a minute. So much as there are aspects of that question that may be in order, the Minister may attempt to answer, but the question by and large doesn't comply.
Well, Mr Speaker, I refute strongly the suggestion from the so-called independent legal advice that the Green Party paid for that this is a subsidy. It is not a subsidy. We will meet our obligations under that agreement. New Zealand will ratify the agreement on the 1st of July of this year. It will enter into force sometime over the next 1 to 2 years. But I would also suggest, Mr. Speaker, that actually saying that the government's commitment to work with New Zealanders to get their cost of energy down as a subsidy is absolutely wrong, and in the case of this agreement, a fallacy.
Will the Minister then publicly release the advice and the information that he is making statements upon about this not being a breach of the ACCTS, given that he has so far refused to in parliamentary written questions from our officers?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the questions that have come from that member's office are actually around fishing and wouldn't be sustainable in themselves. It's really, really clear that this is not a subsidy, but as with...
No, hang on. No, sorry. That's not how it works.
The answer, Mr. Speaker, it's not a subsidy.
Supplementary question to the Honourable Chris Bishop.
Is it correct that Budget 2025 appropriates $200 million in contingency for the Crown to take commercial stakes of around 10 to 15% in new gas field developments, and commercial exploration in which the Crown takes a stake and therefore receives upside profits cannot be a subsidy?
Well, Mr. Speaker, that is exactly correct, and that is within the bounds of the ACTS agreement. I'm surprised that's not in the legal advice. The Green Party is commissioned with taxpayer funding, and if it isn't, and if I was the Green Party, I'd ask for the taxpayers' money back.
Close. That's, look, these little swipes at the end of questions are going to stop.
Does it remain the government's position to support the global phase-out of fossil fuels and fossil fuel subsidies, given our current membership of at least 4 groups advocating to end these subsidies on the international stage?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not the Minister responsible for that, but what I can very clearly say to that member is the government's policy to ensure energy security for New Zealanders and that we can bring the cost down. Merely turning the lights off, as that previous government that member was a member of, importing as much coal as they can, is not good for the climate, it's not good for New Zealanders. No wonder energy prices are so high for Kiwi households.